Hello, and welcome back to Road TRIpVIA. Today is episode number 386. The category will be Presidential Inauguration Day Trivia. This is a 20-question trivia quiz that will have a 21st question at the very end of the video if you need a tiebreaker. Thank you for watching today, and good luck on today's quiz. Question 1. Presidential Inauguration Day was originally March 4th, but to shorten the time between the election and the swearings-in, it was moved to January 20th by which constitutional amendment? The answer is the 20th. Question 2. Although John Marshall, the first Chief Justice, gave the oath 9 times, it was only to 5 different presidents. What man administered the oath of office 7 times to 7 presidents, the most in history? The answer is Chief Justice Robert Brooke Taney. Question 3. Which U.S. president was sworn in 1905 wearing a ring that had a lock of President Abraham Lincoln's hair inside of it? The answer is Theodore Roosevelt. Question 4. After the 29th president died, what U.S. vice president was administered the oath of office at 2:30 a.m. at his family's farm by his father, a notary public? The answer is Calvin Coolidge. Question 5. The oath of office is traditionally administered by the Chief Justice of the Supreme Court, but it doesn't have to be. How many U.S. presidents were sworn in by someone else? The answer is 7. Question 6. What 4-word phrase has been said during the oath of office of almost every U.S. president, yet, due to the no religious test clause in the U.S. Constitution, isn't actually in the oath? The answer is "So help me God." Question 7. Which pairing of President and Chief Justice messed up the oath so badly that they had to perform a private do-over the next day? The answer is Barack Obama and John Roberts. Question 8. The weather in D.C. in January can be all over the place. What 2-term president had both the warmest inauguration day ever and 4 years later the coldest inauguration day ever? The answer is Ronald Reagan. Question 9. In 1963, what man became the first and only U.S. president to be sworn in by a woman? The answer is Lyndon B. Johnson. Question 10. What president delivered the longest inaugural address in history on a cold, wet day and then died 1 month later of pneumonia, believed to have been brought on by prolonged exposure to the elements on his inauguration day? The answer is William Henry Harrison. Question 11. Which president kept things short and sweet and delivered the quickest inaugural address in the history of the country? The answer is George Washington. Question 12. What man was inaugurated as the first president in U.S. history whose time in office was limited by a constitutional amendment to only 2 terms? The answer is Dwight D. Eisenhower. Question 13. Although Theodore Roosevelt was younger, he was sworn in following the death of a president. Who was the youngest president ever elected as president to be inaugurated? The answer is John F. Kennedy. Question 14. In 1949, the inauguration of what man and his Vice President Alben Barkley was the first to ever be televised? The answer is Harry S. Truman. Question 15. Following whose 1809 inauguration was the first inaugural ball in Washington, D.C. held? The answer is James Madison. Question 16. Which U.S. president's inauguration was the first one to have ever been photographed? The answer is James Buchanan. Question 17. Which early U.S. president was the first one to be inaugurated in the city of Washington, D.C.? The answer is Thomas Jefferson. Question 18. Who was the first U.S. president to have their Inauguration Day live streamed via the internet? The answer is Bill Clinton. Question 19. Who was the first president to skip his successor's swearing in? The answer is John Adams. Question 20. Who was the only president to be sworn in without getting a single vote for president or vice president? The answer is Gerald Ford. Alright, that is it for the first 20 questions. Thank you for watching today's episode. Question 20 is a pretty interesting question because that was who was the only president to be sworn in without getting a single vote for president or vice president. If you read the little tidbit at the bottom, Gerald Ford was appointed to the vice president after Spiro Agnew resigned. And then as vice president, when Richard Nixon resigned, he moved up to the office of the president. So never being voted in as a vice president or a president, he was the only one to ever do that, which is pretty neat. So anyways, today is Inauguration Day, January 20th. Thank you for watching Road TRipVIA today and learning a little bit about some American history. Check back tomorrow for a new trivia quiz. We'll have a new Trebek trivia on Friday. And now for question 21, the tiebreaker. As of today, January 20th, 2021, how many people have been inaugurated as a President of the United States? Donald Trump was the 45th, so that means after today, there will have been 46 people inaugurated as presidents. Thank you for watching. Check back tomorrow for the new quiz.